Today, we are diving into the teachings of the Indian sage Ramana Maharshi. And what's so incredible about his approach is its simplicity. It cuts through all the noise to get right to the heart of one single, ultimate question. Who are you, really? So, let's start with a pretty radical idea. What if every single ounce of stress, anxiety, or unhappiness you've ever felt doesn't actually come from the outside world, not from your job, not from other people, but from one single thought in your own mind? That's the big idea we're going to dig into today. All right, so where did all this come from? Well, you see, this entire philosophy wasn't born from studying ancient books or sitting in a monastery for decades. It actually came from a moment of intense crisis in the life of a teenager. I want you to really picture this. You're 16 years old, totally healthy, and then bam, out of absolutely nowhere, you're hit with this bone-deep certainty that you are about to die. Not just a worry, but a full-body, 100% conviction. This is exactly what happened to the young boy who would become Ramana Maharshi. Now, here's where things get really interesting. His reaction was not what you'd expect. He didn't scream, he didn't run for help. Instead, he just lay down, made his body stiff like a corpse, and decided to investigate this experience head-on. He asked himself, okay, this body is dying, but am I the body? Who is this I that's watching all of this happen? And that one simple question led him to what he considered the root cause of all human suffering, this tricky, elusive thing we all call I, the ego. So Ramana zeroed in on what he called the I thought. And think about it. It's not just another thought. It's the very first one. Before you can think, I am happy or I am tired, the thought I has to pop up first. It's like the main root from which every other thought, feeling, and experience grows. So here's the really crucial part. This I thought, this ego, feels so incredibly real, doesn't it? It feels solid. But Ramana used this absolutely brilliant analogy. He said it's like a ghost. It might seem scary and substantial, but the very moment you turn around and shine a light directly on it, poof, you find out there was never anything really there to begin with. And this really lays out the two sides of the coin. On one side, you have the ego, this I thought. It's temporary, it's just an idea, and it's the source of our suffering. But on the other side, you have the true self. This isn't a thought. It's the pure, silent awareness that's always there. It's permanent. It's what the sages call existence, consciousness, and bliss. So, if the ego is the problem, what's the solution? Well, Ramana proposed what he called the direct path. No complicated rituals, no dogma, just a straightforward technique he called self-inquiry. Now, this is a really key difference from a lot of other meditations you might have heard of. You see, most meditation is object-based. You focus your attention on an object, right? Like your breath, a mantra, a candle flame. Self-inquiry is subject-based. You turn your attention completely around, away from all the objects, and focus it directly on the subject, the one who is aware of everything. So what is it exactly? Well, in a nutshell, it's the simple act of keeping your attention fixed on that inner feeling of I, or I am. And the tool you use to keep your attention there is the question, who am I? Okay, but how does this actually work in practice? Because this isn't just some abstract philosophy to think about. It's a very clear technique that you can apply, like right now. All right, here's the play-by-play. First, you just notice a thought. Any thought, doesn't matter. But instead of getting lost in it, you stop and you challenge it. You ask, to whom did this thought just come? And of course, the answer is always going to be, to me. And that's the pivot point. Right then, you ask the ultimate question, well, who am I? And that question acts like a hook, turning your mind's attention 180 degrees inward, away from the thought and towards the source of that. Now, there are a few really crucial tips for this. First, you have to be persistent. Ramana said you have to track that I thought back to its source relentlessly. Second, and this one is huge, you're not looking for a verbal answer. The question, who am I, isn't a riddle you're supposed to solve with your intellect. It's a tool to make the mind quiet. You can use it anywhere, anytime, especially when you feel stressed. Just ask, who is it that's feeling this stress? And finally, don't get caught up in judging yourself. Your past doesn't matter at all. All that matters is this inquiry, right now. This is one of my absolute favorite quotes from him. The imagery is just so powerful. He's saying that the question, who am I, is like this master thought that destroys all other thoughts. But then once its job is done, it doesn't just stick around. Like the stick you use to stir a fire, it gets consumed by the very fire it was tending. All that's left is pure silence. So, after all that, when the I thought is gone and even the question itself has burned away, what's left behind in that silence? The result is direct, and it's simple. When you actually trace that I thought all the way back to its source, its root, it just vanishes. It dissolves. Because it was never really a solid thing to begin with. And what you're left with isn't some empty void. It's a fullness. It's pure, untouched awareness. This is what's called Sat Chit Ananda, which translates to existence, consciousness, bliss. And here's the real kicker. This isn't something new that you have to go out and attain. It's just the discovery of what you have always been, right underneath all the noise of the mind. So this table kind of puts the whole philosophy at a glance. For Ramana, the world we experience is basically a projection of our own minds, kind of like a dream. Happiness isn't something you find, it's your natural state that gets uncovered when you quiet the mind. The true teacher, the guru, isn't someone outside of you, it's the silent self inside you. And paradoxically, you need to put in the effort of inquiry to finally reach a state of complete effortlessness. And so we end with this amazing analogy Ramana often used. He said our true nature is like a cinema screen. It's pure, it's empty, and it's completely unaffected by the drama, the action, the tragedy of the movie being projected onto it. Our lives, our personalities, that's all just the movie. So the question he leaves us with is this. If you are the vast, unchanging screen itself, why spend your entire life believing you're just one fleeting character in the film?